All right. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Labor Day. I hope that you all had a chance to kind of relax, get some good time in with friends, family, maybe have some good things to eat off the grill. I definitely did that myself. I hope you stayed safe. I hope that you had a safe and blessed Labor Day holiday. We are winding down. And even though it's Labor Day and most of us are off, my next guest we had to have on because he has a book that is dropping tomorrow. And he is one of our favorite people to talk to here on Reality Check. If you are watching this via Facebook, welcome to all of our rolling out viewers. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure that you hit the subscribe button so that you can keep up with all the great conversations that we have coming up. And without further ado, I want to bring tonight's guest up because you guys are here waiting on him. Please help me welcome Married at First Sight's very, very esteemed guest, Pastor Cal.
Hey, hi, Crystal.
Happy Labor Day.
Thank you. Happy Labor Day to you as well.
Did you get a chance to enjoy today? I know you're doing press because your book drops tomorrow, but did you get a chance to enjoy it all?
You know what? For Wendy and I, enjoyment is just chilling and doing nothing. And that's exactly what we did today.
Well, there you go. Well, I thank you for dropping in and talking with us on a Monday night on Labor Day. Oh, yeah. But we are so excited about your new book. And I got to put this cover up here because the title of this book just sums it up. There it is. Marriage Ain't for Punks.
That's right. That's right.
It is a no-nonsense guide to building a lasting relationship. Pastor Cal, what prompted you to put this book together in addition to all the advice that you give out every week on Married at First Sight?
Because people need help, man. Right? Crystal, people need help. And it's funny because, Wendy and I, we get, because we normally do counseling together as a couple. And we get on average, I think my assistant told me probably about 20 to 25 requests for counseling per week. Mm-hmm. And it's more than we can handle, with my traveling schedule, filming schedule, et cetera. So I decided, look, I need to put everything that I've learned in a book. So it's not everything, but for the last 20 years, I've compiled a lot of information. It's 230 something pages in this book. And so we're excited because it's not just, hey, Pascal, I want to write a book, but I actually wanted to give someone a practical guide so they can read it because I can't get to everybody, but I definitely wanted something out there that would help their marriages.
Well, I think people, just from the responses that we got, people do need help. And I wanted to ask you, the statistics are people are getting married less and less.
Right.
Yet the divorce rate is still around 50%. Mm-hmm. Do you think that marriage, because our culture has changed, the way we look at things, the way relationships work is so different today? And so my question to you is does marriage work in 2021 in the same way that it would have worked in 1960? What are the differences now?
Well, let me start by saying this. This might sound crazy, but marriage doesn't work.
Okay.
People work. Marriage is only the institution that the people are in. Mm-hmm. So when people say, whether or not marriage works, no. Marriage is not designed to work. People are designed to work. Excuse me. Which is why I wrote this book, because I want people to understand that the same rules that applied 1960 still apply today. Mm-hmm. People haven't changed. Marriage still requires the commitments of having both for rich and poor, in sickness and in health, forsaking all others till death do us part. When people are standing at the altar and that bride on the most beautiful day that she could ever concoct in her mind is standing there, she has all these fanciful ideas, and that husband is standing there, and they're both thinking that this is going to last forever. That happened in the 60s.
It did.
That has never changed. People still do the same things.
That is true. I guess I'm asking the maybe are the tools that we need different? Because I think the biggest thing that is different is the fact that we have access to so much, and we don't necessarily live in a culture that suggests anything that's not convenient for us. So if
Oh,
something's inconvenient, we're quick to get rid of it.
yeah, now you're talking, because I think that we are very microwave oriented, and we don't have the stick to itiveness that our grandparents had. I think we and I talk about this in the book, that we quite often depend on how we feel about a situation, and we even equate love with feelings. If I feel good about you, I love you. If I don't feel good about you, I don't love you. You know, and so it's like, and so we get rid of the relationship. Let me give you a little statistic here, that arranged marriages, where people don't marry for love, but they marry for family, for legacy, you know, for their community, they have like a 95% success rate.
Wow.
Western marriages, where we're very love oriented. Oh, I love you, so we ain't getting no younger. We might as well do it. You know, me in your white dress. You know, stuff. You know, when we do that, our divorce rate, yes, it tops 50%, because we are basing it on how we feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
The love has less to do with feeling and more to do with commitment.
More to do with commitment. Now, where does compatibility fall in there? Because I would assume that those families, at least there's some common ground there. And it seems like compatibility is a big part, in addition to love and the feelings, but just people that want the same things, that are on the same path, seems to make a better. Am I right to assume that?
You are. And with arranged marriages, the compatibility is the fact that they're sharing values. The values are, we value our community, we value our families, we value perpetuating a positive legacy, whether it's financial or moral or societal or whatever. These are the things we value. And when couples, even in romantic marriages, when couples get together because they have similar values, you know, and your values are those irreplaceable principles that you live your life by. For me, one of my values is family. I could not have married someone who does not have a close connection to their family. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you know, that brings me to one of my questions. I have a clip here from this season of Married at First Sight, because we're religious watchers here. But that brings me to one of the questions, because we talk about compatibility, and when you see a couple like Mirla and
Gil.
Yes, Gil and Mirla, where she really doesn't like dogs, right? And she's very, very and she did not want a man that was bald. Do you think, are those not things that you guys considered deal breakers? Or what do you see that as far as, like, when you're interviewing couples and you hear a person say, I don't like animals, or I want the person to be this tall, or where do you guys draw the line between that's really important to that person and that may be something that person can get over?
Well, okay, first of all, we always go back and ask them, is this, okay, how important is this to you? I mean, is this a deal breaker? We always go back, because when people think deal breakers, here's the thing with Married at First Sight especially. People are wanting to marry by the rules that they use for dating.
Yes.
And you can't do that. Marrying is not dating. Marrying requires a higher level of understanding, a higher level of emotional maturity. And so when somebody I'm going to be straight with you here. I'm going to, you know, with Mirla and Gil, I love both of them. I honestly do. They're just awesome people. Gil is like just an incredible human being.
He's a great guy.
Is very sweet. She is. She's very sweet. She has some fear that she has to work on. She's a very sweet person. But here's the deal. When you marry, I'm trying to remember, what was I going here? Okay.
Well, the fact that she did not want someone that was bald.
Oh, right, bald.
Bald and a dog. That was the whole point.
Okay, the dog thing. Okay, if she has a phobia, and we asked her that, that's a different ball game. Okay. If she is severely allergic, that's a different game. She is neither. Okay. Okay. She just don't like them because they are dogs and they got hair.
It's not convenient. It's not convenient. Yeah,
it's not convenient. Exactly. So basically, I'm telling you got to get over that. Yeah. Secondly, hair. That's why we talked about values. You're going to say, I don't want somebody who's bald, and you want to be married. What's going to happen if you got a full head of hair and then he loses it? And so we're trying to get people to come out of their boxes, come out of this insane idea that all these checklists have to be met before I can love someone.
Mm-hmm.
Hair has not. Look, I started out with a full head. This is not a fashion statement. It's not. True story. My wife said, I've been bald since I was in my 30s. My wife said, because I wasn't bald when we met. I was bald when we married. She said, honey, grow out your hair. Grow out, just let me see it. I said, babe, I'm going to give you a week to see this monstrosity on my head. I swear to you, 6 days. She's like, no, cut it, please. Cut it. It was a hot mess. But who cares about hair? And that's what I was trying to convey to her, that, you know, and she's figuring it out. She's like, okay, he's a beautiful man. He's a great man. I want her to see the values.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the message I want to get across, is that whatever you think you know about marriage, whatever you think you want, forget it.
Wow.
Forget it.
I wonder, and like I said, I've got a lot of questions I want to go through quickly, but I wonder if that's the biggest, because every season when I watch, the couples are excited. They come in, I'm excited with my husband. I'm going to see my husband at the end of it. And then they get the first few days and they're like, this isn't going to work. Or they're shocked, or I don't want you to kiss me. Or I don't know. You're a stranger. And I'm thinking, where is the disconnect between I'm excited, I'm going to have a husband, I'm going to have a wife, and this person is a stranger now? What is that, because we're looking at dating? Yes,
they're in the dating mindset. First of all, I asked them, have you ever seen this show? I mean, you signed up for it, but have you ever seen the show? I mean, we've had people say, I don't want to live with my spouse. What? Why did you sign up to be married at first sight if, number one, you don't want to do the things that married people do?
Right.
Number two, you don't want the commitment and you don't want to live with someone. I mean, that's insane. And I do believe that a lot of them are in single mindset, still trying to apply the same single rules of dating and what have you. I don't like you. I don't like you. No. And marriage is a whole different ballgame. And that's why I think this is a genius show, because when I talked to the CEO of the production company, Kinetic Content, we had a long conversation before I joined the show. You know, because they asked me to join, and I said, I don't know about this. We didn't look at it. So I found out that they really believe in marriage. We don't do this for drama.
Right. That's obviously a question. I did not feel like needed to ask that question, but that's one of the most asked questions is this for drama? I also got, does it bother you being a pastor and believing in marriage so much to have so many couples end in divorce?
Yeah, of course. Of course it bothers me. I don't expect any of these couples to end in divorce. And this is the God's honest truth. Every couple that I put together, I expect them to succeed. But here's what I do understand, that people, when they come on the show, and when they, are signing up to do this, it's because they cannot do it on their own.
Yes.
It's because they have some blockage or something. The key is not the thing is not whether or not this person that they married to, whether they can be successful. It's can they get out of their own head? Can they get out of their own head? Can they get beyond their own roadblocks? Can they get out of the box that they've been living in that's been keeping them from great relationships? If they could do it on their own, they wouldn't need us.
Right. That's true. So with that being said, do you think mental health plays a big part in that? And some of the couples that we see OCD, we see people that have different, everyone has different aversions or anxiety. Do you guys
go ahead, please?
Well, do you guys screen for that, or is that something that you look for?
We do. And this, I'm glad you asked that, Crystal, because I don't often get a chance to talk about the vetting process. We go it's like 2 or 3 months of vetting before you're even allowed to be on the show. You have to, even to sign up, you got to answer a 75-question questionnaire. And then once you're accepted, you have to sign answer a 500-question questionnaire.
Jesus.
And then after all that, you have to go through another vetting process. And then we meet you. And by that time, you've been weeded down to maybe about 100, 150 people. And that's where we come in. And then you have to go through, after we meet you and do our evaluations, you have to go through psychological evaluations. You sit with 2 different psychologists on 2 different occasions, for an hour each time. And they actually go through you with testing and what have you, and actually just pick your brain. And then we do background checks. We do health evaluations. We look at the criminal records. We do a social media sweep. We do all these things. And with that, people still get on the show and act crazy.
They still get through. They still, but that gives us some more context to when people go crazy a couple of nights in. It's like,
yeah, we're surprised too. We're like, wait a minute, who you? You're not the person that we've been talking to. And the psychologists missed it. They didn't get it either. They're like, so you're either a master deceiver or there's something deep that we missed.
Which does happen. Well, Maggie asked, do you still believe that opposites can balance each other out, even though that doesn't seem to always work on the show?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Opposites can balance each other out. I believe that there are two things that I look for on Married at First Sight, and also if I'm talking to single people about getting married. I look for compatibilities. These are things where you actually have in common. But believe it or not, that's not the greatest thing. The greatest thing are compatible differences. These are the differences that you have that can offset one another. You're an extrovert, you need an introvert. You know, you are not too good with money. You need somebody who is great with money. I read somebody on Twitter, which I seldom do, but I read a comment on Twitter where someone said, you shouldn't have matched him because he's great with money and she's not. Duh. Shouldn't you match someone who's great with money with someone who's not great with money so that, you know, you can sort of balance each other out? So yes, I do believe that differences, compatible differences to some extent, they are beneficial. I mean, my wife and I have so many differences and I learn from her differences. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to have differences and to learn and grow as a result of that.
Yeah, to happen. I guess what is the key to being able to be open to learning? Because a lot of times, especially when you're talking about singles in their 30s, especially mid 30s and up, they're kind of set in their ways.
Yeah.
So how can one be open? I'm asking really somewhat for myself. I'm engaged to get married, and
congratulations.
Thank you. My fiance and I, we have lived life, and it is difficult. I have a way of doing things. He has a way of doing things. We have some opposites in there. How can you be? What advice can you give to us to be open to being flexible with those differences?
What I would ask a couple is, how bad do you want this relationship? I mean, honestly, how bad do you want it? Because I remember, I can't think of the guy's name, but he made this statement. He said, people change when the pain to stay the same. I always get this wrong.
Yes.
People change when the pain to change, okay, is less than the pain to stay the same.
Yes.
When there's a greater pain to stay as you are than there is to change. And if you can weigh those two and say, you know what, this thing is so valuable to me that, look, me staying the same is, it's just going to be more of a detriment.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? And that's why I ask, how bad do you want it? If you want it bad enough, look, there is nothing, Crystal, that I will not change if it's going to better my relationship. Why? What else is there?
What else is there? That's where you have to be. If you guys are just joining, welcome. Come on in, pull up a seat. We are talking to the one and only Pastor Cal. He's delivering some gems tonight, and we've just taken this opportunity to have a therapy session for all of us. So take a seat. I'm giving some questions that I've had sent in once I posted that I was going to have Pastor Kyle on. Ebony Mack says, why match people? And this is a big one. A few people ask this, but why match people who have never been in love before? Like in this season, we see Zachary. There have been, I think Ryan on last season was like, I don't really think I've ever felt that. That is extremely scary. And when the audience hears that, it's like, how is this person going to be open to this experience, period? And then especially with cameras around. Yeah.
And that is a great question. And I think that when people say, well, you know, I've never been in love before. If I were to ask any individual, how do you know you're in love? You know, I would probably get 20 different answers. Because everyone says, well, love's different for everyone. Well, is it? Is it really? Because I tend to think that love is a lot simpler than that. And when I'll take Zach, for instance, when he says, I've never been in love before, I said, well, have you ever been in a long-term relationship? Yeah, I was in a relationship for 2 years. Why were you in there? Well, because I was in there and I said, were you committed to her? Well, absolutely. Did you ever cheat on her? No, I did not. Would you have done anything for you? Oh, absolutely. Okay, let's think about that for a second. What is love? Is love feelings? Is love, well, I just can't be without you? I want to be around you all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Crystal, I adore my wife. She adores me. We don't want to be around each other all the time.
Mm-mm.
It's just not necessary.
Mm-mm.
I mean, we always want to be within arm's reach.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But yeah, sometimes you need your space. It is perfectly okay. So then what is love? So I think quite often when we find people who say, I've never been in love, I often have to press them on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the best definition for love, and I talk about this in the book, I got from a college professor who said that love is an intellectual decision we make, a conscious decision we make to be committed to fulfilling another person's legitimate needs.
Is that in the book, Pastor Cal? Because I love that.
It's in the book.
I've already ordered. Yeah, I've got my copy is coming. I have an electronic copy, but I need the hardback.
Yeah.
So I definitely need that. I love that definition, and that would suggest that probably more people have been in love that didn't think they were, and some people who thought they were in love might not have been.
Yes, because the question is not whether or not you felt it. The question is, were you committed to that person?
Did you do that? Did you do the things that love suggests?
Yes. Did you make the decision that I'm going to be committed to? That's why we give marriage vows at weddings. I just did a wedding this past weekend. To hold, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer. These things, these are commitment vows. Did you make a vow, a commitment to this person that says, I'm going to be there for you. I'm not going to be around anyone else. I'm not going to be searching after anyone else. I'm committed to you. Being committed to fulfilling your legitimate needs is the beginning of love. So you are growing in love. Once you made the decision, you grow in love. I've never believed in falling in love. It's growing.
It's growing.
Every time you fall, you get hurt. And secondly, you have no control over it.
It's trauma. It's trauma.
It's trauma. And when we have this attitude of falling in love, we made love something bad. We made love something scary. You don't fall in it. You make the decision to be in it, and then you grow in love.
Wow, it sounds like that's what a lot of the issue is people expecting to feel this uncontrollable feeling as opposed to you're growing on me. I'm starting to understand how we can make this work. That's a much more rational way of approaching that.
It is.
So I'm going to take one of the questions from YouTube tonight, and that is, do the couples have to get STD tests before they are on the show? And that is a good, because it's always an issue. Of, are they going to be intimate on the first night or not? Or even on the honeymoon. So is that something that the couples have to go through prior?
That's a great question. In the questionnaire, we ask a barrage of health questions, and we ask you to be honest and to fill those questions out. We also do give them a health evaluation. We ask them to go to their own doctors. So it's not a matter of, we can't force anyone to take an STD test. We can't force anyone to do any of that, but we do strongly urge that they consider whether or not there are any health issues, and not just STD. Are there any medical issues you need to make us aware of? Do you have, uncontrollable high cholesterol? Are you prone to heart attacks? It becomes a liability issue if we don't ask these questions. So we do that. Do we enforce it? There's no way to do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a medical. You got to force someone to release their medical records.
And let me say, we've never had any case of anyone having an STD with their spouse.
Okay.
We've never had that case.
Well, that's good. We'll knock on wood that there will not be a case.
I know it, right?
Ali Fall asks, is it a red flag if someone is not willing to kiss their spouse? Has that been a surprise to you?
No, it's not a surprise to me if someone's not willing to kiss their spouse. That's I don't think that's odd. You have to understand, this is an incredibly traumatic experience to marry someone at first sight. A complete absolute stranger, someone you've never seen before in your life, except with Johnny and Val.
Johnny and Val, yeah.
But someone you've never seen. I think we may have had that, something similar to that happened once before. Yeah, with Amelia and Bennett.
Yes.
They had
met before, yeah.
But this is an incredibly tremendous thing that they're doing, and it's very stressful. And again, you're going from single, not in a traditional relationship where you're dating, getting to know. You're going from single, boom, you're married.
Mm-hmm.
That is very stressful.
I'm sure. Yeah. I can't imagine.
Some of the couples, they react under that stress. Mm-hmm. So to say that someone is not kissing, is it a red flag? No, I don't look at it as a red flag. Jamie and Doug did not kiss, I don't think, the entire season, the first season of the show. There was no kissing. There was no affection whatsoever. They've been married now for, I don't know, as long as the show has been on.
They are the star couple. Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, that's not a red flag to me. It's not unusual at all.
Oh, everybody's different. Well, this is from Siobhan Hampton. Siobhan asks, what do you think is the core issue with men being faithful in relationships in this day and time? And that is Siobhan asked that question, but that was also a very popular question. Pastor Cal, why is cheating a constant issue in relationships?
Yeah, you please get the book. I talk about that so much, but here's the thing. I talk about affairs in the bed versus affairs in the head, and I think that one reason, and it's not, look, it's not just men. I will admit men probably do more, but I'm seeing this thing is starting to balance out.
Maybe women are doing it better and not getting caught.
They're doing it. Yes, they are. But I think that the number one reason that people cheat in a relationship is emotional immaturity. They are not ready for commitment. If you're with a man who is cheating on you, leave him. He ain't ready.
Point blank. You heard Pastor Cal.
He is not ready. And the reason that men cheat, number one, they got a lot of options. And don't let no man tell you, well, I would cheat. I wouldn't cheat if I wouldn't cheat. No, you control your penis. Nobody is making you do that. No, cheating is a decision you make. Commitment is a decision you make. So men do that and women do that because they're not ready for a real commitment. Right. Don't fool yourself and hang around trying to get them not to cheat.
Have you counseled couples that have rebounded from
infidelity?
From infidelity?
Oh, Crystal, absolutely. I believe you can rebound from infidelity. Absolutely. I can't even count the number of couples who have come to me with that issue and have worked their way through it. Now, it's not easy. And I talk about this in the book also. It's not easy, but you have to learn how to forgive, but you also have the offender has a lot to learn. It ain't just on the offended, but the offender has a lot to learn. I'll give you just a little snippet. And I talk about, let me say this because this will give you some insight. With each chapter, I loosely base it, and I say loosely because I don't use any names and I change the descriptions. I loosely base it on couples that I have or situations that I've actually encountered. So at the beginning of each chapter, there's a story about a couple. And then I talk about, how I would counsel that particular situation. So when it comes to infidelity, there's one story about a gentleman who has been cheating, and he was cheating for 6 months and then finally decided to confess to his wife. Well, after he's been cheating for 6 months and he confessed it, all of a sudden he's like, oh, wow, she was upset and whatever, that he forgave. She said, okay, fine, let's see if we can work it out. But she kept bringing it up. A couple weeks in, few weeks in, a month in, she's still bringing it up. He's like, well, look, I said I forget. I'm sorry. Can we get beyond it? Hey, man, dude, look.
Yeah.
You had 6 months to cheat and to decide that you didn't want to do this no more. She's had 2 weeks, a month to deal with that.
You heard to get over it.
And you want her to get over it in 1 month, and it took you 6 to decide to stop?
Yeah.
So that inequity is real. So when people decide, first of all, they decide to make it after there's been infidelity. There's something that the offender has to do. There's something that the offended has to do. They have to really understand the power and the efficacy of forgiveness. Forgiveness, as I talk about in the book, is not just forgiving you for the incident. I'm not just forgiving the act. I have to forgive the actor. And that means I forgive you for what you did. I forgive you for who you are right now. And I'm forgiving the possibility that you might do it again.
Ooh. Okay, Pastor Carol, I didn't see that third one coming. Did not see. What?
If you're going to make it through infidelity, this is how you do it. Now, couples who have been willing to do that, because you're forgiving a condition of infidelity. That's what the forgiver, that's what the offended has to do.
Yeah.
The offender then has to respect that, and they have to, of course, respond accordingly to that person's forgiveness. So it ain't easy.
No, that's not easy.
It ain't. I tell you, marriage ain't for punks. The book ain't titled for no reason.
We got to get. You guys got to get. We got to get this book. All of us need to get this book. We got 2 more questions, Pastor Cal.
Okay.
So I am 29 and he is 47. Before I have kids, I would like to know the truth. Are age gap relationships really worth it? Will I be unhappy in my later years? Will I wind up as a lonely, slightly too old to date again widow? Jackie.
Come on, Jackie.
Hard.
Is that Jackie?
Jackie, yes.
Jackie, come on, sweetie. Okay, he's 47. You're not 87.
Well, he's 47. She's 29.
He's 29. Okay, so what's that? 18 years difference.
Pretty good. That's a pretty good gap there.
A pretty good gap, but it's not an impossible gap. I don't have a problem with people who have different ages as long as they both are mature and ready for it. Times are different. People, it's funny because when you're 29, you look at 47 as old until you get 47.
Until you get 47, that's true.
And you realize, well, this ain't old. Then you get 57. Man, that ain't nothing. So I don't want you, Jackie, to look at this as, if you love this guy, if this guy is, if you made the decision to love him and he's made the decision to love you, and it's not just about finances, it's not just about, I got a young thing or something like that. If you guys are honestly and vulnerably and sincerely in a relationship, then him getting older is not an issue. Look, I'm older than my wife, almost 10 years. We don't care.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that people are living now well into their 70s and 80s and are very healthy. And that age gap is going to make less and less difference the older you get.
I like that. Linda, my Pastor Kyle, do you think, because I have a good friend who is concerned because the guy that she's, having I have conversation with right now, and he's professing his love is a lot younger than she is.
A lot younger.
She's absolutely gorgeous. He's very good looking. But so they look fine together, but she's concerned about being, looking like a cougar and him being, slightly younger than her. What would you say to a woman in that same situation?
Same thing. He's not 12. He's a grown man, right?
He's a grown man.
He's 35.
Oh,
please. Look, he's 35 years old. And she's probably gorgeous.
She's gorgeous.
I'm sure, but how much older is she?
She's 50.
Oh, wow. Okay. And there's some bad 50-year-olds out there. And if he's 35 and she's 50 and he's loving her, and the same rules apply. The same rules apply. I think that what happens when it's flipped like that with women, sometimes I think it's their insecurity as to whether or not this guy, he's only 35, he's going to look for somebody else. And if that's something you got to really work out. But I think that the onus of that is on him. He's got to convince her. He's got to really step up to the plate and convince her. Look, I have a good friend of mine who is about to marry someone who's much younger than her, and we talked and what have you, but this is who he dates. This is who he dates. He dates older women. It's who he likes.
Yeah.
It's not she gets better with age, And I have another close friend of mine who is much older. You're talking 18. It's a much bigger gap than 18 years.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, dude, is this cool? She doesn't want anybody younger. Her previous boyfriend was older. I mean,
yeah,
I can't say because of your age, there's going to be problems. I can't say that. No. A mature 35 is going to be fine with a mature 50.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Well, last question from our audience. This one I like. We have some more questions on the series, but last question from the audience. What advice would you give to single women who desire to be married, especially when it comes to preparing yourself for marriage? It takes two to make a marriage work, I know, but I'm curious to know how someone can individually prepare themselves for marriage. And this is from Boss Lady Blues. So
Boss Lady Blues.
Yes.
Okay. Boss Lady, first of all, I want you to find your checklist because everybody has one. I want you to read it, and then I want you to destroy it. Completely destroy it. Okay. And secondly, Boss Lady, because you are a boss. Understand this. And it's so just ironic that her name's Boss Lady, because I tell women this all the time. I know you're a boss, and I know women now are just powerful. My wife is a freaking boss. She's a powerful, intelligent, beautiful woman. And I'm not intimidated by her the slightest bit. But just in case she's listening. No. But the second thing that I think that a woman can do is understand that there's nothing wrong with being, God, how can I say this? There's nothing wrong with being genteel, with reducing yourself a little. What I mean by that is not reducing your value, but understanding that you don't have to be an alpha, and tell them you got to accept me, I'm boss, whatever. I don't mind a woman being a boss. And my wife has perfected this. She's a boss, but she understands that I'm not her employee. And that is the key, I believe, for a lot of strong women, especially strong Black women. We know you're strong. We know you can do it. We know you can do it on your own. But we don't want to be employees. Okay? We don't. I don't want to work for nobody. I'm a relationship entrepreneur. I ain't working for nobody, okay? And so I think that, just understanding that some of the same old principles that made marriages last forever. I tell my daughter this. My daughter's 21 years old, and I tell her this all the time. I said, look, honey, men have fragile egos, even the best of us. And if you really want to appeal, you can be strong, but sometimes dial it back. He knows you're dialing. It doesn't matter if some of them, we know you're dialing it back. We know you're letting us lead. And we don't care.
You're okay with that.
We're okay with that. We're okay with you letting us lead. It's okay. We just want to just help us a little every now and then,
Right.
And so I think that for a single woman, first of all, understand, dial it back. You're a boss, but I think some of the women I remember when I was single who got all the guys. They were not necessarily the most beautiful. They were not necessarily the most glamorous or whatever. They're the women who the guys felt like, oh my God, she's just so sweet. She just understands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's just fine. I feel like I feel like she needs me.
Yes. Well,
because let me tell you something. One of the worst things that women, Black, white, green, yellow, blue, have incorporated into their understanding is this ridiculous mantra: I want a man, I don't need a man. Don't ever tell a man that.
As of today, ladies, you guys hear Pastor Cal. Don't ever let that sentence, because that has become a hashtag popular. I don't need one. I want one.
Look, how many people don't want to be needed?
Nobody.
Why should a man be any different? No, men want to be needed. Now, here's the difference, and I don't want to take too much time on this, but here's the difference that I think sometimes women might feel that is diminishing them to need a man. That it means that I'm weak. No, it does not. Think of it this way. And I'm going to ask you this, Crystal. You're a beautiful woman. You got a whole lot going for you. What would happen if you lost your eyesight? Do you think you need your eyesight?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any question? You answered that without any question. You need to see. Am I right?
Yes.
But if you lost your eyesight, would you get along?
Eventually, yes.
Yeah, you would be traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to learn to get along.
Yes.
We all would. If I lost my arm, if I lost my eyes, or lost my hearing, or whatever, I would adapt.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so here's the deal. I need those things. It's not about I want my eyesight. I don't need it. No, I need my eyesight.
Right.
But I can get along without it.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? I can adapt. And that's how you have to approach relationships. No, I need a woman. I'm not going to lie. My wife knows I need her.
I think women are convinced that men need us.
Yes.
But Pastor Cal, a lot of times that is a defense because so many of us have seen women have to deal without.
Yeah.
So and I think you mentioned your daughter. I think I'm excited about this book. I think this is great for the conversation, but I think that women, it would be awesome, Pastor Cal, if you would do another book for young women of what you would tell your daughter, because that is what I think a lot of young women don't have a Pastor Cal in their life. They don't have a father figure.
I'm writing notes.
I think that would be great, Pastor Cal, seriously, to that voice. So if you could explain what is the difference between a lot of women just don't want to feel like I'm desperate. If I don't have one, how do I be single and not have a man, but still have energy that says I do need one, but yet I'm not desperate and willing to just do anything to get one? Where's that balance?
Yeah, I think that women are definitely afraid of looking desperate, and newsflash, men are too. I think it's a human issue. None of us want to look desperate. Because if I'm desperate, it means that I am incomplete. Mm-hmm. It means that I need you to make me feel whole. I need you to make me feel like I'm somebody. Mm-hmm. And nobody wants to feel that way. Now, deep down inside, we may feel that way. Right. We don't want to reveal it. We don't want to tell anybody that, Yeah. So a single woman who wants a man in her life, needs a man in her life, but she's afraid to reveal that or to just be out there like that because she doesn't want to seem like she's some sort of desperate, whatever. A lot of social media, a lot of media just completely has given that out there. Mm-hmm. I'm telling my daughter, I'll bring her in here. I wish she was here. She's so beautiful. I love that girl. But the one thing that I'm telling her all the time, do not be afraid to show your vulnerability. I said, because there's strength in your vulnerability. Mm-hmm. There's strength in your womanhood. There's strength in you letting a man know, I'm not afraid to be a woman. Mm-hmm. I'm not afraid to say that I cry sometimes. I'm not afraid to say, no, I need a man in my life. Mm-hmm. Because she has that inner strength. Yeah. That inner confidence. I don't have to prove that I'm a woman. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't have to prove that I'm strong. If I'm strong, I'm strong. Yeah. Yeah. But I need these things in my life. And when you come at a man straight like that, see, I'm a woman. I can handle my business, but I still need this in my life. Mm-hmm. And I'm not afraid to be vulnerable. I'm not afraid to be open. I'm not afraid to be hurt. Mm. I'm not afraid to be hurt. I'm guarding myself. I'm watching, but I'm not afraid to be hurt. And here's the thing, Crystal. I wish that our women had men who could have taught them this. Mm-hmm.
Well, Pastor Cal, that is the next book. We're going to be looking for it.
Girl, I'm going to ask, and I'm going to call Crystal and say, Crystal, this is your acknowledgement to Crystal Jordan.
Yes, I said it. Well, Boss Lady Blues, I hope that helped you. Real quick before you get out of here, Pastor Cal, people have been asking. I want to show this quick clip. Please. From this season of Married at First Sight. And you got to weigh in and let us know your wish for these couples as we continue with the season. But check this out, guys. This is Pastor Cal doing what he does best.
Personal argument.
Our first real argument.
Yeah, first real argument.
Welcome to marriage.
Yeah.
Okay.
you know, our little argument changes nothing about how I feel about you, right? Like, I still think you're an amazing woman. I think you're the most caring and loving girl I've been around. And so it's just a little bump in the road. And I don't know why you're making that face. And
I'm looking at that too.
Now it's getting like, now it's gonna be really difficult. Okay, so
okay. No, but hold on, I want you to stop for a second. To interpret what that's all about. What's the squint for?
There is a guard. I'm sorry. There is a guard up. So when you say these things, like they sound good, but.
Okay, hold up. I'm sorry. From my perspective, all I did was fall asleep with my dog accidentally.
What did that mean to you?
It just means like you don't believe me and I'm not being genuine or something like that. Like, even the way you're acting out.
I want to believe you. I want to trust you. When my dad died, I had to pretty much protect myself. Like, my dad always had my back. Now I have a husband and I have to put my vulnerability in him. And so the idea of allowing myself to be watched over and led by another man is scary.
You felt abandoned when your dad passed. And you felt abandoned ever since.
My dad's gone forever. He was a good man.
Mm-hmm. I know. Let him be there for you, Michaela.
And that was it right there. Let him be there for you, Michaela.
That got to me a little bit that time.
It was a scene that illustrated exactly what you said, because we saw Michaela go through a crazy response, and you got to the root of the issue. Even watching their body language, you just confidently and very gently got them to communicate in a more, even their body language in a way that was more conducive to them working through that. Were you able to see all that sitting there looking at them, that he just needed to move closer to her,
Absolutely.
to relax? How did you see all that?
Huh?
How did you see through all that?
Well, first of all, look, for each couple, when I do couples visits with them, and you know, I normally talk to them about an hour. Mm-hmm. So you only saw probably about, I don't know, what was that, like 3 4 minutes? Yeah. Mm-hmm. 3 4 minutes. But yeah, it's an hour's conversation. And I so wish you could have seen the whole thing, because the way it developed. But my telling them to come together, look, here's the thing. There are basic things that we all need. We all need comfort. We all want to be close. And I know that between the two of them, that there is an underlying serious care for one another. I know it's there. Mm-hmm. I need him, and I'm somewhat of a traditionalist. I believe that, and I guess it works for both sides, but I believe that the man is the house band, not the husband is the house band. You're the one who bands the house to make sure the bad things are out and the good things are in. Mm-hmm. And so when your wife is becoming vulnerable and breaking down, even if she lashes out at you, you must push through that, because you know at her root, she wants you to do that.
She does.
She wants you to do that. And the pushing away is simply her keeping her guards up. Your job is to see how I can get in, irrespective of how you're acting, irrespective of this. And men and women need to understand that when someone is pushing them away, they're not pushing them away. It's not like I'm pushing you away. And this is protecting me. It's not pushing you. I'm protecting me. And so what I need you to do, when I said this, I'm like, dude, she's crying. You sit on the other side of the couch because you stewed in your feelings.
Yeah.
Get over that crap. This is your wife, and go and comfort her. Push through that.
And they did. So Pastor Cal, give us real quick, what is your hope for this season? We see obviously some challenges. We love Michaela and Zach, but there's challenges everywhere. Val and Johnny have people very upset. People have become very upset with Johnny, myself included.
Oh my God! Why y'all mad at Johnny?
Oh, John, because who tells someone that the way they express joy turns them off? That was a huge. I think most people watching that were very hurt for Val and not sure how you could get past something like that.
John, yeah, that was such a stupid thing to say, and I told him that it was just dumb. And in that longer version, I said, Johnny, Bao is a grown blank woman. She has people that I think she's a hospital administrator, no, something like that. I said she has people under her charge that she calls shots. She's not this woman is the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying that she acts childish when she giggles? I said, are you serious? So that's why I told him, I said, this is not about Bao. This is about you.
Mm-hmm.
This is about him. So he had to confront that. But I believe that if they, yeah, that was something that was a little tough, but it's marriage. We say stupid stuff in marriage. We do stupid things in marriage, and we get beyond it. I say in the opening chapter of the book that I believe that when couples fight, make up, argue, walk out of the house, feel like they want to hit each other, scream at the top of their lungs, they do things, they throw things, they yell, they insult. Some people look at this and say it's a marriage on the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it and say, yes, these are two people who are getting it all out there and building a foundation for something great.
Wow. Well, that's why, please tell people, I'm going to put this cover back up here. Please let people know where they can get the book. It actually drops tomorrow. Marriage Ain't for Punks. Let us know how to get it, Pastor Cal.
Marriage Ain't for Punks. Of course, you can get it online, wherever books are sold. I'm not going to talk about any seller because I want to make it by man. But wherever books are sold, also it will be in Barnes and Noble and all major bookstores. And you can see it at book stands and what have you, wherever. So where you can Google the book and find it easily.
Well, make sure you guys check out Marriage Ain't for Punks. And of course, we will be watching every Wednesday for Married at First Sight and all the spinoffs with the couples cams and all the different shows that have come out of that. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and answering.
This was fun, man. This was fun.
Thank you. Well, we'll have to have you come back, especially we'll have to have you come back at the end of the season. But Pastor Cal, I want to hear when you come back with the new book, because I'm telling you, young women need that wisdom. Your daughter was blessed to have you, but there's so many others that don't. And just the number of women that wrote in with questions, wanting your opinion on dealing with different things. I definitely think you'd have a big audience for that. So we appreciate you and we'll look forward to that next book coming.
Yeah, I hear you. And you got something there, Crystal. I told you, I'm gonna have to give you an acknowledgement. Okay.
I'll take it. Well, you enjoy the rest of your Labor Day. Please give your beautiful wife our love, and we will see you soon.
Take care. God bless.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. What a great conversation with Pastor Cal. Make sure you guys go to the internet right now. Go to Google right now and find the book. I wanted to get my copy because it's so important just to have that instruction and those words of wisdom. When you get upset and we can't get Pastor Cal on the phone or on Zoom, it's good to have that on the bookshelf to look at later. And of course, we're going to be watching Married at First Sight this Wednesday to find out what's going on with Johnny and Bao, what is going on with Michaela and Zach and all the other couples. As always, tune in right here because we have some very, very special interviews coming up. As always, I will see you guys right back here for Reality Check next Monday at 8 p.m. I'll see you then. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye.